And it's another exciting day on Sailing Melody, because today, he's not quite here, he's just gone to his van. Chris is here, my mate from years and years ago. He is a marine diesel engine specialist, works on big super yachts, and he's currently stationed over on a boat in Panama somewhere. But he's on rotation and he's come back just purely, well not purely, he's come back to see his missus I think, but in my head he's come back purely to help me with my engine. It's the only reason, not to see Abby at all. Hi Abby. Nothing to do with that, he's just come back selfishly to help me with my engine. So this is Chris.
Hi.
Hello. So what boat is it you work on?
Science research.
Science research, but currently in Panama, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He's the diesel engine expert, and he's been my best mate for
2000 and I don't know, 2011,
2010.
10 years. 10
yeah,
years.
10 years.
10 years.
And we've done boats together forever. So Chris is here to help me with the engine. First thing that we're going to do is start moving everything from the pilot house downstairs, so that we can actually get access under the engine, have a little bit of a tidy up, and start down there. Right. Right, so we've got the floor hoovered so we don't get too much rubbish down into the bilge. With all the cutting and grinding we've been doing recently, everything's got a slight film of dust on it. We're trying to minimise that getting into the engine bay. So what's the first thing we've got to do then, Chris?
I think the important thing is going to be making sure that this, because at the moment this is unbolted. And
that's the heat exchanger.
The heat exchanger.
So we've got to get the heat exchanger reassembled. It looks like it was taken apart when the boat was sort of winterised.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, but we can find the bits and get that put back together. That's going to be step one. Let's go on with that. Update. We've rebuilt the ends of or Chris has rebuilt the ends of the heat exchange. I've done the air intake. We're missing a nut, which we assume is under the engine in the bilge. We found a baking tray under the engine. I can only assume that it's somebody at some point has tried to cook a chicken in the engine bay. I might try that experiment in the future, but for now I think I'll leave that where it is. Still can't find this nut that we need for the end cap of the heat exchanger, so I've got the camera. I haven't got a selfie stick here. I'm trying to find one. I can't find one. But okay, so I can't even get the GoPro through this gap here.
I don't know if it should be longer.
Whilst hoovering, there was a blah, 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 and this came up the hoover. This is the nut, but the sleeve should be longer. It's sheared off. So I'm going to have to be ordering another one of them. For a boat with such good engine access, it's got really bad engine access, to the point that you can't even get a screwdriver on the impeller housing. Fuel filters, brand new. Seals for the heat exchanger. A new cold raw water impeller. Chris is about to change the fuel filter, and I'm going to film and watch, which is the whole reason he's here. This is the fuel filter that's actually on the side of the tank. It's got a water trap on it as well, hasn't it?
Yep.
Right, so what we're really looking for is whether this is water or oil.
That's fairly fuel-like.
That is clean actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's mucky, but there's no water in that.
No. So the next thing is draining the fuel filter.
And hopefully. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, lovely. Look at that.
Still no water in it though.
No. So for anybody wondering why I'm not wearing gloves, I have put barrier cream on because I haven't got any gloves. So
just don't knock that bowl over now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, lovely. Look at that. That is some, don't eat it. I had the camera off then. Chris was just saying something very interesting, that the filter is actually full of rubbish and full of junk, which is a good thing because it means it's working. If those filters were absolutely crystal clean, then the rubbish that's in those tanks is going somewhere else, isn't it? They're not doing their job. So the fact that they are full of sludge is actually no bad thing.
Or your tank is completely spotless, but
yeah, which
on
is
a boat this age with steel tanks would be
highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Not so nice.
No. So that's the
contents of the fuel bowl.
It's a good job we're doing this before you fuel your interior as well.
Yeah.
Because somebody asked me years ago what it's like trying to service an engine in a boat.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like trying to rebuild an engine in your living room.
We have got a nice clean glass bowl and a nice clean
agglomerator.
Oh right, okay, so yeah. But, so a completely clean water separator, agglomerator, oil filter. So that's just the nut that holds the glass bowl on, and that's the one that you don't really want to over tighten.
Yep, that's it. You should see the bowl start to fill.
Lovely clear.
Let some air out.
Yeah, nice. So here's the other two filters, one of which is also a water separator.
So
which one are you doing
this
first?
One, I want to do this one. It's going to be interesting because I can't actually get the bucket underneath.
Do you want the funnel?
So yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can get the funnel under. Access to that is not good. But what we can do instead is if we just crack the housing, because I can't actually get to the bleed screw.
So this is the new Cooper's filter with the new seal kit, and it's going here. Chris is just removing the old one, having taken the bowl off.
If I can.
There you go. Fitting the final fuel filter of the three, and then it's oil, and then we have a test run, don't we?
Yeah. See if it works.
Slightly different story this side. There is water in this tank, but not a lot. We're into diesel now, aren't we?
Yep.
That's now diesel. There was what, 100 mils of water?
If that.
How you getting on, Chris?
Yeah, not bad.
Where are we up to?
Both the filters are bled.
Nice.
So we're just trying to bleed it up to the fuel pump. Ah!
It's here.
Oh, let's have a look.
Here is the manual. It is the Ford 2700 range, industrial power products. And it's the Ford Mermaid.
Do you know what it was actually called, this engine?
The Melody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Melody.
Here's another thing, and this is why this is a meant to be boat. The sailing channel that we have is called Sailing Melody. I think you know that. But having got the boat and then investigated the engine, this is part of the Ford Mermaid series, which are marinised Ford industrial engines, but marinised for marine use. And this particular model is called the Melody, the Ford Melody. So it's just meant to be, isn't it? It's almost as though the universe was promising us this boat. I'm talking rubbish now. Can't be too much longer here today because it's getting dark and we're having a curry at home tonight, which would be nice. Just got to bleed this fuel pump, fuel injection pump, and then we're going to do a little quick test start of the engine, and then we're going to leave changing the oil in the oil filter until tomorrow. So we're not going to run the engine for long because we don't want to be picking up any sludge that's in the sump. Just enough to make sure that the fuel system has bled through, the engine starts, and we've got we're feeding the engine with the fuel and the air it needs. Go! Oh. Go! Oh. Go! Oh. Go! Oh. Anything that goes in this bilge isn't coming out.
Alright, are you in a position to turn the key?
Would you like me to give it some gas?
Stop there. Interesting thing that we've got going on. Oh no, it's alright.
Okay, so just before we start, we are getting smoke from the air intake, are we not?
No, the smoke's coming from the heat exchanger.
Sorry, the heat exchanger, yeah.
Yeah, that's where you.
Why are we getting smoke from the heat exchanger?
So because the heat exchanger's open, and what we find, there's probably a little bit of water in the water lock exhaust.
Sure.
Which is creating a little bit of back pressure. And what it is, because it's all open, there's no water in the raw water side. The exhaust is just back pressure, just you know, back pressurising through this raw water line.
Here?
Yeah, from the injection elbow where
that
it goes.
copper pipe, the painted copper pipe.
Yeah, and it's just coming out the side.
Fine, so it's nothing to worry about.
No.
We're not going to run for very long. We're only going to blip it because we've got to get coolant and oil tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is just, does she start, does she run, and then does she go in and out of gear, I suppose, very quickly.
Alright, ready?
Yeah. So all that smoke is just back pressure. It's nothing to worry. We're not on fire. That's just exhaust smoke, back pressure from the. Tell you what we'll do.
Open the hatch.
What we will do, yeah, is we'll open the hatch. Let's do that.
We'll get some fresh air. Successful.
Yeah, very much so.
If not a bit silly.
Oh wow! No, you're not going to die.
No, you're fine.
I'll open some of the other hatches as well. It's fine. There you go. We've got some ventilation. Oh, we are quite full of smoke down here. It's fine. There, look. It's all going out. It's all going. Look, there it goes. Off you go, smoke.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, we've got exhaust coming. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try it again now. We're in neutral, and then I'm going to put it in gear once we're running to see how we get on.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah, be ready to stop it quickly if I can't get it in or out of gear.
Okay.
Oh, and again. Nope.
Oh.
Need to leave the gas on just for a little bit longer. That went in forward gear and in reverse gear. There's a lot of smoke.
There's a lot of smoke.
Let's go outside for a minute. People will be wondering, what the heck was that? That sounded like the monster from Lost. That wasn't the black smoke, that was just the exhaust smoke. So we'll let that clear for a minute, shall we? I think the boat looks like it's on fire. This is just yeah, smoke coming out the hatches. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to nip home, we're going to have some curry, and we're going to be back in this exact spot tomorrow morning with some coolant and some oil to do all of that stuff. So see you in exactly 1, 2, 3. Lovely curry that was. Right, let's go straight back to work. Chris is already here. Morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Oh, fancy seeing you here. So today's jobs are change the oil filters, top up the coolant. Chris is currently pumping this pumpy thing, which is supposed to pump oil, but it looks like it might be a broken pumpy thing.
It might well be.
Might be a broken pumpy thing.
One minute, 37 seconds later. Eight hours later. 3 days later.
Are we there?
We've done it.
We're there. We have emptied the oil out of the engine.
Wasn't that bad actually, probably 15 minutes.
We haven't actually. You have. I've watched and filmed. Right, so next job is rocker cover off. It's all clean and Chris is just finding a spanner of a suitable size to put on the front of the crankshaft so that we can turn the engine over to adjust the valve clearances. Here is our other friend, Manuel. Chris has dropped a Jubilee clip in the bilge. Okay, so your valve clearances, yep. Inlet 0.381 mil or 15 thou. Exhaust with rotator caps 12 thou, exhaust less rotator caps 15 thou. Nice. Explain to us now, Chris, what we're looking for here in terms of valve clearances. What are we looking at here?
So what we're going to do is get a feeler gauge.
Yes.
Of 15 thou.
Yeah.
And just put it underneath the rockers. I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's a bit of movement.
Yeah.
And that one. And all we're going to do is measure the clearance between the two, because you've got if the clearance is too big, which it normally is,
yeah,
your valve will not be opening at the correct time, and it won't be opening for a long enough period. So
these are the push rods.
Yeah.
And these are the tappets are actually at the bottom of the push rods, aren't they?
Yeah, they run on the cam.
They run on the cam.
Yeah.
Now, why? So you adjust that simply by adjusting this set screw here, this screw here.
Yeah, and that screw is like an interference fit on the thread. It's really tight.
It's fine.
Most of them have got a lock nut and a screwdriver, but then you need 3 hands because you need to hold the feeler gauge whilst turning it. And these are a lot easier.
Okay, cool. So we just adjust that screw until there's no play left in the rocker, and there's basically one inlet valve and one exhaust valve on each cylinder, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't really matter the order that you do the
job. Yeah,
you just need to make sure that the valve's fully closed, so there is no load on the push rod or on the rocker arm. I was
going to say, close that, otherwise you're going to have a Han Solo moment.
I don't know how we're going to get out of this one.
Cam load, wear log, rocker number 8, clearances found, 9 thou. Set to 0.015 inch. Set to 0.015. Job done. Just like that, Chris has done all the valve clearances. Rocker cover. There you go. Chris is just showing me this thing which he says the people of the YouTube may not be aware of. What is it that you've got there, Chris, that the people of the YouTube may not be aware of?
It is a gland packing puller.
A gland packing puller?
Because...
Oh, because we're going to do the stern gland in a bit.
It's difficult to get the gland packing out. I'm sidetracking a bit, but...
that's fine.
So you just... put your end on. I've got a smaller one as well with smaller ends. So you can wind that into the packing and then...
Oh, so it's like it's basically like... Yeah, but it's basically a corkscrew.
Yeah.
A corkscrew on a flexible thing.
Yeah. Because what I've had to do before now is put a long wood screw with a screwdriver into the gland packing and pull it out with a pair of pliers.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those...
But your corkscrew for your Chardonnay would do the same job?
It probably would.
We've got the hose pipe filling that up. Go. Do you want to turn it on and crank it and see if I'll keep this running and I'll run round and see if we've got water coming out the exhaust?
Yeah.
Will that work?
Should do.
Okay.
So I'll keep cranking.
So we're cranking the engine and seeing if we've got water coming out the exhaust, which we should. We might not, but... Well, we've got exhaust coming out the exhaust. No water.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What take a while. Oil pressure. Is that good?
Yeah. That started with no throttle then.
Right.
That just
1500 RPM.
that is not working.
Is it not?
Yeah.
The plan now is to run the engine for a good while, let the engine warm up. We've got water, we've got coolant, we've got oil. Sounds pretty. We've got water.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go and have a look at the water. Never has a grown man been so excited by water. Oh, actually, every yachty in the world is excited by water.
Got nothing on but water.
Look at this. Hey. Marvellous. Engine mounts, they look all right.
Yeah, it's not.
Do we think it's no, it's not making any horrible noises. And yeah, no horrible noises and not shaking around at all. Okay, so the batteries weren't charging, the alternator wasn't working. We haven't got a split charge relay on this. We've got a very old school diode which we're going to get rid of in favour of a more modern system, undecided as yet. But for now what we're doing is connecting, getting rid of that diode out the circuit and just wiring it up as a traditional alternator to battery issue, forgetting about the leisure side for now, so that hopefully with the starter battery wired up to the alternator, just as it would be in your car for example, we should now see the starter battery charging during the while the engine's running, and it should also mean that our rev counter works. Let's try it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'll check the voltage on the battery.
Yeah.
And the rev counter's... No, the rev counter's going doolally again. The temperature is now saying that we're up to 79, 80 degrees. How long have we been running now? 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So we've been running the engine a good 40 minutes. She's pumping water, lovely. So she's maintaining just under 80 degrees water temperature. Yeah, she's hunting a little bit at that.
But it levels out.
Well, it does, doesn't it?
Might just be because there's no load on it.
Might be. Smooth. Not hunting. Really nice. So if it levels out. Yeah, she's leveled out. So there you go, should we stop? So Chris has now got here for me a list of stuff that I want to do. Can we just summarise before we go to the list, what have we achieved today?
Yeah, so checked all the engine mountings.
Yeah.
They seem to be good. There's nothing bad going on with them.
Yeah.
I've checked all the nuts. They're all nice and tight, so that's
Fab.
fine. Changed the oil and oil filter, and we gave them some bit of a flush. Fuel filters.
Yeah.
Tanks are full, it appears, which is great.
There's actually a sight gauge on the side of the tank, and there's that much out the top of the tank. And bear in mind, there's twin tanks on this. It's a huge amount of fuel capacity. Haven't measured it, but it's a lot. And there's 2 inches missing out of the top of the tanks. So, yeah, so we've used nothing.
Yeah, so led all the system through. That worked well. Did the valve clearances.
Yeah.
That was another one. Gave it a bit of a clean, which was nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, you did the air filter as well. And the main thing was just to run it up,
get it running, and
make sure that it starts, runs, and
so that's what we've achieved. Really chuffed. That engine now starts and runs and is reliable. What about the need to do?
The nut on the heat exchanger.
Nut on the heat exchanger, job number 1. I've already ordered it. It's coming from Mermaid Marine, so that's an easy fit.
After doing that, you can fill it up with, drain the water out, fill it with coolant. Should be a good one.
That's another thing.
Yep.
We only had water running in it.
Yeah.
Will the coolant be more efficient for cooling the engine?
No, coolant's less efficient.
Okay.
Water's the best.
Okay. But water freezes.
But it freezes and it
corrodes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The pulleys on the front for the belts just need a clean up. Maybe a paint, you know.
Just to get any bits of rust or flaky paint off so they're not eating away at the belts.
Yeah, and then once you've done that, you can change the belts as well. Do that along with swapping the alternator. That's all one big job, really.
Belts and alternator.
Yeah, top up the oil. That's a quick one.
Yeah.
Screw for the rocker cover.
We've dropped a screw for the rocker cover into the bilge.
Rocker cover gasket, if you can get one. I don't think it's leaking, but it most definitely will start leaking, so it's worth swapping it anyway.
Yeah.
The exhaust elbow pipe work for the injection elbow off the manifold, it just looks a bit rusty.
Right, yes.
So I think that is definitely going to be a possible failure point, so that's worth just...
So that's where the exhaust comes off the back of the manifold and has got a square metal flange going onto a piece of tubing, which then has the exhaust tubing clamped onto it. Probably going to need a new one of them.
Your injectors, but again, it runs fine. That's not a
it's not a need to do, it's a nice to do.
No, that's a, if I happen, you know, next time I come up again, if you're still...
take the injectors out and take them somewhere to go.
Yeah, but I don't, you know, that's in the ideal world.
But you'd be happy to put the boat in the water with those injectors like they are?
Oh yeah, it'd be fine,
Okay.
And
that's it really,
I believe that's it. Oh, the stern gland, which I'll run over with you quickly.
Yes.
How to do that. It is it's easy. You've got the gland packing, which hopefully will be the right size.
So that's a job for another day. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Chris, for coming and helping me. It's been fantastic to see Chris. As I say, he's been my best mate for forever, and we always end up doing something together and going off and either climbing mountains or fixing things. So it's been fantastic to spend time with you, mate, and thanks for being a part of the episode and part of the channel.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been great.
See you next time, guys. Bye for now. Chris has just gone up to use the facilities, so while he's gone, I thought I'd give you a bit of a musical interlude.